You're listening to Sox in the Basement, a production of the Broadcast Basement Limited, where every show is 30 minutes of good and comes from a basement bar on the south side of Chicago. Pull up a stool, pour a cold one, and join us right now for Sox in the Basement. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at soxinthebasement.com. Hello everybody, my name is Chris Lanuti and welcome to yet another simulated matchup. White Sox Simulated Baseball brought to you by Sox in the Basement. When everything in the world started to go haywire, about a week before opening day, Sox in the Basement decided we were going to simulate each and every day, following the White Sox schedule. It's not a recap, it's not a once-a-week thing. We were ready right on opening day and have been bringing you ever since then White Sox baseball, each and every pitch, in about 90 minutes. And so far the season has been a lot of fun. The 6-4 White Sox take on the 6-5 Seattle Mariners. Taijuan Walker, 0-0 with a 9.00 earned run average on the bump for Seattle, against Lucas Giolito making his third start of the season, already sitting at 1-0 with a 4.50 earned run average. The hot hitters for the White Sox currently Jose Abreu and Tim Anderson, both with batting averages in the mid-300s and OPSs over 1,000. And Adam Engel carrying a 444 average with a 1.167 OPS, mostly against left-handed pitching. Meanwhile, Eloy Jimenez is ice cold, hitting 161. He has 5 home runs, but they are the only 5 hits he has so far on the season. And while the White Sox bullpen has overall been spectacular early on in the season, Jace Fry has had 2 bad outings, including yesterday, where he gave up the lead late and the White Sox fell to the Mariners. Without further ado, we head out to Guaranteed Rate Field. White Sox, Mariners, next on Sox in the Basement. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the second of 3 games. The Mariners visiting the Chicago White Sox at Guaranteed Rate Field as simulated by MLB The Show 20. And brought to you by Sox in the Basement, found everywhere podcasts can be found and always at soxinthebasement.com, along with our fine sponsors, Cork and Carry at the Park. Lucas Giolito ready for his third start of the season. He's 1-0 with a 4.50 earned run average over 10 innings, 8 hits, 8 walks, 8 strikeouts, and a whip of 1.60. He struggled in his first outing on opening day, but was much sharper in outing number 2. D. Gordon will step in to lead off for the Mariners, hitting .410 on the season with 3 RBIs. And he leads the majors in stolen bases right now with 5. The next 2 guys on the list are Tim Anderson and Luis Robert. Robert patrolling center field and Anderson back at short. Anderson had the day off yesterday, but attempted on the last at-bat of the game to put the White Sox over after they had lost the lead. This one is flared out into left field. Eloy Jimenez back in the lineup will make the play near the line, and there's 1 gone. Carlos Gonzalez will now step up to the plate, hitting .286 on a 4-game hit streak. 2 pitches for Giolito. He gets the first person down, and he's on to batter number 2. The pitch. That one is a low circle change taken for ball 1. Gonzalez is 1 for 6 lifetime against Giolito with a strikeout. The 1-0 pitch. This one is chopped to Abreu, who bobbles it, flips it to Giolito coming across, and that'll be out number 2 on the 3-1. He knocked it down, got control of the ball, and flipped it over, and Mitch Haniger steps in, hitting .262. As Giolito trying to make quick work here in the first inning. The pitch on the way, outside, ball 1. Haniger was 0 for 3 with a strikeout yesterday, but did reach base in his 4th at-bat on a walk, and that's when the wheels came off for Jace Fry just a few batters later. 2 outs, the pitch on the way. Swung on and dribbled over to Anderson. He will double clutch and send that over the first. 6-3 in your scorecard, and the White Sox set down the Mariners 1-2-3 in the first inning. Midway through the first, no score. Anderson, Moncada, Abreu leading it off. Taijuan Walker, the starter, getting his 3rd start for the Mariners. He's got an earned run average of 9.00 over 9 innings. He's got 17 hits he's given up and a whip over 2. 2 walks and 5 strikeouts, so he's been putting a lot of runners on, giving up a lot of hits, and has no wins and no losses so far to show for it. Your 2019 AL batting champion steps up to the plate, and he would be currently sitting on a 9-game hit streak if he had not insisted on coming in for the final at-bat of yesterday's game. So unfortunately, statistically, that takes away his hitting streak. Although he only got one at bat yesterday, pinch hitting. I guess you pick up the pieces and you go back and get another hit streak started. First pitch taken for a strike, the next one inside on the hand, swung on and missed. Anderson is quickly 0-2, with Moncada behind him in the 2 spot for the first time in over a week. After Renteria shuffled the lineups due to a struggling Moncada, this one is sent down the first base line, hooking foul. Anderson will reset, still down 0-2 in the count. The pitch on the way, low, ball 1-2 the count. Next pitch swung on inside corner. He goes down swinging. First strikeout for Walker. Anderson will get another chance later on in the game against him likely. But there's one out. Yoan Moncada comes up to the plate. Moncada's always been the guy that Renteria would like to see up at the top of the order with Anderson. And after a slow start is up, and his first swing puts this one into the left field corner, and they had a shift on, expecting him to hit it towards the right side as he's in the box batting lefty. So he steps in on the left side of the plate, hits it oppo where there's nobody. It should have been a single. It goes to the double as everybody's got to give chase across the field as nobody was standing there. That's either a line out to third base or a base hit that goes for just a single if everybody's just playing straight up. Instead, he's on second base with a double, and Abreu steps in, DHing in this game. I think I mentioned that he had bobbled the ball at first. I wasn't reading my scorecard correctly. Jose Abreu DHing Encarnacion's over at first in this game. Abreu hitting .359, takes a strike and now flares this one out in the right field. It's a can of corn. Moncada will hold. There are 2 outs now in the bottom of the first inning. So Walker gave up a hit, but got the 1 and the 3 hitters in the lineup, and Yasmani Grandal steps up hitting 4th as Eloy Jimenez has been bumped down the order a little bit due to his struggles. So he can work things out in less intense situations. Grandal is also 6 for 11 all-time against Walker with a home run. So he sees this pitcher very well, and the first pitch is inside ball 1. Walker resets. Moncada leads off of second. He checks him, and the pitch on the way. Swung on and missed outside four-seam fastball. 1-1 the count evens. Pork and Carry at the Park is where you should be getting your food from today while you sit back and enjoy this simulated White Sox broadcast from Sox in the Basement. Go on Grubhub.com or visit them directly, corkandcarryatthepark.com. Low outside splitter for a ball, 2-1 the count. Award-winning burgers. They've got everything from cheese curds to several different types of French fries for sides. They also have wraps, wings, salads. Got to eat a little healthy here during this lockdown. Otherwise, you're going to get really, really fat and have to come out of your house seeing sunshine for the first time and waddling to your car. That one's grounded up the middle. Amazing play at shortstop. Cuts it off before it gets into the outfield. Thrown across to first base. And that's a ground out 6-3 for Grandal. And now in the top of the second, Daniel Vogelbach hitting .357 with an OPS north of 1,000 on the left side of the batter's box, on the left side of the plate from the righty Giolito. Inside low fastball taken for ball 1. He's got 7 RBIs over his last 3 games and was dangerous up there yesterday. The pitch. Low ball 2. Giolito trying to work him at the knees has missed both times. 2-0 the count now, leading off the second inning. The pitch from Lucas. That one is flared out into the left center field gap. Jimenez giving chase towards the wall. He looks up, and that is into the second row. So Vogelbach hits a 402-foot home run, and Giolito is the first pitch of the crack here in the second inning. The Mariners scored first yesterday. They did it on a home run, a solo shot. They did it again today, their first hit, a home run as well. It was a towering shot, exit velocity only about 100 miles per hour, that hung up there for a while and just carried over the wall. As Kyle Seager hits one off the glove of Encarnacion, but they're going to rule he was foul when the glove touched the ball, and that's going to go for a long strike, 0-1 the count, as it rattled around in the right field corner. Seager was 2 for 3 yesterday with the big 3-run home run, 5 RBI in total. He was the difference maker as the Mariners came back to beat the Sox. 1-1 count, Giolito with the pitch. Inside, four-seam fastball taken, 2-1 the count. The lefty Seager against the righty Giolito, the pitch. Chopped down the first baseline foul. Encarnacion moving around a lot over there so far today. Covering first base to give Abreu a bit of a rest, but keep him in the lineup. This outside slider is chopped down the third base line, 2-2 the count. 342 average for Seager. The pitch. Inside ball 3, the count goes full with Dominic Williams, who came in as a pinch runner last night, now out there on the on-deck circle with the start today. That pitch is down the middle, taken for strike 3. A beautiful four-seam fastball throws Seager. And Giolito gets his first strikeout and first out of the top of the second inning. 1-0 Seattle. Williams steps in, and the pitch from Giolito. That is a high four-seam fastball in the zone for a strike. 0-1 the count. Mariners acquired this young man from the Yankees back in 2018, and he's got a platoon role right now on the team. High and inside, catches the corner of the plate, 0-2 the count. Wide strike zone early here from the umpire. As Nola waits on deck, he had a home run yesterday against Reynaldo Lopez. The 0-2 pitch on the way. Low, he lays off the curveball, 1-2 the count. Giolito checks the sign from Grandal, who had the day off yesterday, and the pitch on the way. Got him swinging at a circle change that dropped away from him. He had no chance at that pitch. And Lucas has struck out both batters he's faced since the home run here in the second inning. So as he works his way towards the bottom part of the order, Giolito warming up. High inside fastball taken for a ball. 1-0 the count to Austin Nola, hitting .217 with a home run that was yesterday, and 2 RBIs total on the season for the infielder. The pitch. Outside, 2-0. Giolito resets, and the pitch on the way. Swung on and missed down the middle, 94-mile-an-hour fastball, 2-1 the count. Giolito with his 24th pitch of the game, and that is chopped over to Moncada. He takes it on 2 hops and dishes it over to Encarnacion to end the second inning, but not before. The Mariners get one off of a towering blast that looked like it was going to hang up there long enough to be caught on the track, but just barely cleared the wall, and the White Sox trail 1-0. Eloy Jimenez. They're listing his OPS of 942 up there on the scoreboard instead of his average of 161, because the 942 looks impressive, but he has struggled at the plate. But every once in a while he has jumped on top of one, and he has done a good job getting to first base with the walk. There's a shift on with 3 players between second and third. 1-0 count, and he puts this one down the third baseline foul. 1-1 the count. Minnesota leads Cleveland 6-4 midway through their game. Minnesota will be here next. That one's outside for a ball, 2-1 the count. Byron Buxton's already hit his 3rd home run of the season for the Twins. Starting to show that potential they thought was going to bust out last year. This one is deep down the third base line, hooking foul, 2-2 the count to Jimenez. Encarnacion on deck. This one's in the dirt. It's blocked, 3-2 now. The payoff pitch to Jimenez. Swung on and chopped up the middle with the second baseman standing at second base. The shift gets Jimenez. It goes 4-3 even though it's thrown from the shortstop side of the base. And there's one gone here in the bottom of the second. Edwin Encarnacion faces Walker now with 1 out in the bottom of the second, and his team trailing by 1. Inside pitch taken, ball 1. They keep the same shift on that they have for Jimenez. Nobody's moving. Pitch number 21 from Walker on the way. Outside, he checked it up, and they're going to say he did hold up, even though he kind of fell across the plate there trying to hold that bat up. 2-0 the count. Walker, the delivery. Inside splitter taken for a strike, 2-1. Offense has not been a problem so far this season for the Sox. As this cut fastball sent down the first baseline foul, 2-2. So I don't think the 1-0 deficit is anything to be too terribly concerned about. Encarnacion takes a splitter inside, taken for strike 3. Could not pull the trigger. That is the second strikeout of the game for Walker. A man who has given up 17 hits over 10 innings coming into this game. And yet he has only given up 1 hit so far with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. And Nomar Mazara up to the plate hitting 200. That one is chopped over to short across the first, and the inning is over quickly. The White Sox get nothing going in the second. We go to the top of the third, trailing the Mariners 1-0. Patrick Wisdom hitting .273. moves up from the 9th spot yesterday to the 8th spot today in the Mariners lineup. The right-handed hitter's got 1 home run and 3 RBI. And Lucas Giolito stares in looking for the sign, and the first pitch of the 3rd inning is on its way. Swung on and chopped foul, a curveball, ended up low in the zone, chopped back to the backstop. 0-1 the count and the pitch. Swung on and missed, four-seam fastball low at the knees. Very different speed, very different look. And Wisdom looks silly on that swing. 0-2 pitch on the way. Inside corner, didn't get the call. That was close, Lucas wanted it. 1-2 the count. Giolito takes the sign and the pitch. Low, ball 2 on a slider. Wisdom doesn't look like he's got Giolito figured out. Giolito trying to pick the right time to throw one for strike 3. He throws that one on the outside corner, and it's chopped over to Danny Mendick, playing second base today for Larry Garcia. He flips that to Encarnacion, and there's one gone in the top of the 3rd. Garcia's had 3 errors this week, and will sit down and take a rest today for the White Sox as Mendick, who has played well over the last couple games, gets the start at second. Mendick's had 2 starts before this, leading into this game. He played third 2 days ago, second while Garcia moved over to short, and now he's at second base again. 1-1 pitch to Alan Hansen is fouled back, 1-2 the count. Hansen's got no hits so far in the season, batting in the 9th spot for the Mariners. Outside circle change taken, 2-2 the count with 1 out here in the top of the 3rd and nobody on. D. Gordon standing on deck as the lineup would flip after Hansen's at bat. The pitch. High pitch swung on and sent down the first baseline foul. Giolito with the wind, and the pitch on the way as Grandal sets up outside. A little bit too outside, that slider, and the count goes full with the 400 hitting D. Gordon waiting on deck. A beautiful afternoon outside. It is sunny, warm, temperature still around the 60 degrees just like yesterday. As this one is sent out in the left field, Jimenez back on his horse to the wall and will turn around quickly and catch that, backing up to the fence. That one almost got out as well. It seems like the ball is hanging up there and carrying, especially over to left field today. The Sox avoid a second home run from the Mariners, and Gordon steps up with 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd and takes a low slider for strike 1. He's hitting .538 over his last 5 games. And the next pitch on the way. Outside four-seam fastball, 1-1 the count. The pitch from Giolito. A bunt laid down. He tried to bunt for a base hit. It goes foul down the 3rd base line. The pitch. Swung on and missed. He went up in the zone with a slider. Grandal points to Giolito. Giolito points back. The White Sox go to the bottom of the 3rd, trailing 1-0. Luis Robert. This rookie is up and down, but he's going to play every day he's available as he figures out the major leagues, hitting .206 currently, but he's had a few big games mixed in with some stinkers. Every pitcher is new to him right now, and they're looking at film on him and trying to figure him out as he fouls this one back. 0-1 the count. Walker with his second offering to Robert. Taken inside pitch. They're going to say he went around, and he'll be charged with a strike. 0-2 quickly to Luis Robert. The pitch from Walker, outside for a ball, 1-2 the count. Walker working quickly. As we said, coming into this game, 17 hits over 10 innings for the starter for the Mariners today. But he looks pretty solid out there right now, moving the ball inside, outside. That one was low. 2-2, he tried to get Robert to chase one low in the dirt. Robert working his way back from an 0-2 start to this at-bat. Now sitting with an even count in the pitch on the way. Swung on and ripped down the 3rd base line, foul. Pretty swing on that one. He just got around on it way too quick. And the next offering. That one is fouled back off the net behind home plate. Light crowd today, but that's because it's a Tuesday afternoon. It was weird to see 3 day games, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday here in Chicago. As this one is thrown to the backstop. It goes for a ball, 3-2. The pitch on the way. Ball 4, he walked him. Robert has started to show a little bit more discipline now up at the plate, understanding that unlike in the minor leagues, some pitchers are not going to give him anything to hit. And he's got to take that free pass and go to first. And he's been a little bit tighter with his strike zone and his pitch recognition. As Danny Mendick comes up the 9-hitter, hitting .214 on the season with 2 RBIs. He's had a few big hits, though, over the last couple of days and has played solid defense where other players on the team, who are not considered to be starters, have had their issues. He's been pretty solid out there for us so far, and he's gotten 3 straight starts in Ricky Renteria's lineup, batting at the bottom of it. And he's had 2 RBIs over the last 3 games. 1-0 count. After that one is low and outside. Robert over on first base, trying to gauge Walker and see if he can get himself a good lead and take off. The pitch to Mendick. This one is chopped up the middle, and it is a base hit. Robert safely into second, standing. So a seeing eye single up the middle for Mendick. And there are 2 on with no out here in the bottom of the third, and the White Sox are in business. Robert takes the lead off of second. Mendick takes the lead off of first as Tim Anderson steps in and rifles this one into center field. Center field is going to come on quickly and make the play and will hold the runners as he had to come in shallow. If it dropped in front of him, it could have been trouble, but he made the play. So 1 pitch and an out for Anderson. And Yoan Moncada comes up 1 for 1, trying to get the White Sox their first run of the game. Low inside pitch taken for a ball. He's got 2 home runs and 3 RBIs in the last 5 games. And has been hitting solidly now, raising that average, and got himself back into this spot in the lineup finally. As this one is in the right field for a base hit. Robert's going to come around and try for home. There will be a play at the plate. He is safe underneath the throw. And the White Sox tie this game up on a base hit from Yoan Moncada as it dribbles in between first and second. Right fielder Haniger comes in and throws it on a dime to home plate, but Robert was already crossing the plate, sliding underneath the catcher as he went up to catch the ball at about eye level. Mendick advances to second, Moncada on first, and Abreu comes to the plate and takes a low splitter for ball 1. 0 for 1 in this game already with a flyout on the first inning, hitting .350 on the season. And he's got a runner in scoring position with 1 out here in the bottom of the third in a 1-1 tie. Walker with the delivery. This one is fouled into the camera well down the first base line. Couple fans up on their feet now. A little bit of excitement here in this game. The pitch. Low curveball, 2-1. We keep mentioning that Walker has a propensity to give up some hits and give them up in bunches. He gives the walk to Robert, gives up 2 hits to the next 3 batters. A runner scores. And now with 1 out here in the bottom of the third, that is a swinging strike, 2-2 the count. Abreu stands in with the count even. Mendick leads at second, checks the runner, the pitch on the way. Outside ball 3, the count goes full. Yasmani Grandal stands on deck as Walker takes his hat off and walks around the back of the mound. He's got 43 pitches so far here in the bottom of the third with 1 out and a full count to Abreu. The pitch. Swung on and sent out to right center field. Right fielder headed to adjust his line. He now gets back to the track and makes the catch. Robert was halfway between first and second. He retreats. Mendick tagged up and made it to third. So it's going to be first and third on that flyout with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. And Yasmani Grandal comes up with 3 home runs on the season and 9 RBIs, even though he's hitting .206. With first and third and 2 outs and a chance to get another run. First pitch is chopped down the third base line, just foul. He's 6 for 12 now career-wise against Walker. And the pitch, inside pitch fouled straight back. Almost hits Jimenez on the on-deck circle. Grandal is 0-2 now, batting from the left side. The pitch on the way. In the dirt, it rolls, but not far enough for Mendick to advance. He started to come down the line and realized he was not going to get to that ball before it could be picked up and run back to home plate. 1-2 the count now. 1-1 score, bottom of the third, 2 outs, the pitch. Outside, curveball, does not chase, 2-2. White Sox have had some timely hitting early on in the season. This new group put together by Rick Hahn in the front office is very different than what you've seen here on the south side over the last couple of years. Inside pitch taken by Grandal, and he fights back from an 0-2 count to a 3-2 count with Eloy Jimenez on deck. Pitch number 50 for Walker on the way here as Grandal stands at the plate, ready for it. That one swung on and chopped to third. They're going to go for the force at second base and get Moncada. So a fielder's choice ends the inning, but the Sox tie it up, and we are 1-1 all tied up at the end of the third. Foundation issues not properly handled can be costly. Family Waterproofing Solutions is owned by Ken, a veteran of the United States Marines, and his wife Maria. making them a veteran-owned business and a female-owned business that will diagnose and repair wet or leaky basements. During the current health crisis, Ken and Maria decided to pay each and every one of their workers, secure their jobs, and continue to give them health care from home. And while they're not currently going out and doing jobs, they will still give you an estimate and jump on into a video consultation right now. Plus, part of the proceeds for every job that they do are donated to veteran and first responder organizations who support our frontline defenders. And currently, Sox in the Basement listeners have access to special pricing when they contact Family Waterproofing Solutions now, 708-330-4466, or visit them today at FamilyBasementWaterproofing.com. And folks, remember, Family Waterproofing has special deals for Sox in the Basement listeners, including 20% off on family days. They've got lots of things they're doing over there. Make sure you check them out on the web. Give them a call for one of those estimates, as Giolito deals to Carlos Gonzalez to lead off the fourth inning. Inside fastball taken for a strike. Gonzalez 1 for 7 with a strikeout lifetime against Giolito. Giolito sets, and the pitch on the way. And then is also a strike taken, 0-2 the count. I've never gone around and checked my foundation myself, as this one is inside taken for a ball. But when you think about the extra time a lot of us have on our hands, and the fact you can get on with Family Waterproofing and let them look around with a video and talk to you and get an estimate, I don't know why you'd waste any more time. As that was swung on and down the first base line foul, 1-2 it remains. Giolito to Gonzalez, inside pitch taken, 2-2 the count. So it makes sense. Figure it out, because if you end up finding something, or if you're worried about something going on in the basement, or you want the sump pump checked or replaced, now you get the estimate, then you're ready to go when they're ready to go. The pitch. Inside taken for a ball, the count goes full. Mitch Haniger waits on deck. And remember, portion of the proceeds from Family Waterproofing Solutions, that means what you're paying for it, a portion of it going to first responders and veterans organizations. And if there was ever a time to give to them, it's now. Inside fastball taken for the fourth strikeout by Giolito. Batter didn't like the call, but it doesn't matter. That caught enough of the plate. And Haniger steps in with one out here in the top of the fourth in a tie game. Giolito into the wind and the pitch. Checked it up, but that's a strike. 0-1 the count. Haniger's 2 for 5 lifetime against Giolito with a double. The pitch on the way. And that is also a strike taken. He's 0 for 1 in this game. Giolito sitting on 49 pitches. He's thrown 29 strikes. The other 20 would go for balls. The pitch. This one is lifted out to right field. Mazzara going after a ball that's tailing towards the line. He will get over there in time and make the play. And there are 2 gone. Daniel Vogelbach steps in. 1 for 1 in this game, with 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. And that is a 12-6 curveball that dropped nicely into the zone. 0-1 the count. The pitch from Giolito. Tries to get him the bite on an outside four-seam fastball. He does not. 1-1. Rondal sets up on the outer portion of the plate. The pitch on the way. He does not get the call. Ran that along the side of the plate. 2-1 the count. The left-handed hitting Vogelbach has a home run already in this game against Giolito, and now hits a line shot into left field, scooped up after 2 bounces by Eloy Jimenez. He gets that into Anderson, and that's a base hit. Vogelbach is 2 for 2, and has been the one guy that Giolito has not been able to figure out today. Kyle Seager gets his second attempt at Lucas. He had a hard hit ball in his at-bat that went just foul. He puts this one down the right field line, hooking towards the stands. Mazzara gives chase. He will not get there in time. A long foul ball to lead off this at-bat. He struck out in his first at-bat. He swings and misses at his second offering, and he's 0-2. Seager has spent all 9 seasons of his career with the Mariners. This one is lifted in the right field. Mazzara back to the wall. He leaps and cannot make the play. It goes off of Mazzara's glove. He was over the wall, so it would have been a home run. He attempted to make the catch. He's unable to bring it in. It goes for exactly 348 feet, which is where the wall is there. Gets out at a speed of only 94 miles an hour. Mazzara goes up. It goes off his glove, and over the wall. Although he was at least a foot and a half over the wall going up for it. So I still think that clears either way. But he had an opportunity to bring that one back and end the inning, and he could not bring it in. So the Mariners now lead 3-1. Giolito has given up 2 home runs in this game. And that's the difference, as the White Sox currently trail 3-1 with Dominic Williams up and a 1-1 count. Inside pitch taken for a ball, 2-1 with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Giolito now sitting on 60 pitches in the game. Pitch on the way. Outside pitch taken, ball 3, 3-1 the count. Lucas, the presumptive ace, struggled in his first outing, looked much sharper last time out, and has given up 3 runs here through 3 2/3 innings, and now walks the next batter, and Don Cooper is going to come out and talk with him. It's an odd start to the season for an all-star last year in Giolito, who came in very determined this year to take it to another level. And at this point, has to do a little bit of work. He's got a runner on first with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th, and Austin Nola comes to the plate. The right-handed batter against the right-handed pitcher. The pitch on the way. Taken for a strike, strike 1. He's been throwing strikes today. There's no denying that. And he has been attacking the batters. And Grandal has been moving him around. But he's had 2 big mistake pitches that barely got over the wall. If this stadium was just a little bigger, the Mariners would probably have no runs in this game. Back those fences back about 5 to 10 feet, and nobody scored. This one's popped out into left field. Jimenez comes in and dives. He does not make the play. Ball stays in front of him. He gets it in. It'll go down as a single. The runner advances from first to third. A lot of White Sox players diving around out there, but they can't come up with the ball. Mazzara trying to go over to the wall, couldn't come up with the ball. Jimenez there diving across the grass, couldn't come up with the ball. First pitch now high to Patrick Wisdom. 1-0 count here. As with 2 outs, the wheels coming off for Lucas Giolito here in the top of the 4th. When it looked like he was cruising. Has to get it together now. To Wisdom, a swinging strike inside portion of the plate. 1-1 the count. Fans trying to egg Giolito on, get him through this inning. Still a lot more baseball to be played here. The White Sox gave up the lead a couple times yesterday. It was when they gave it up for the 3rd time, they were unable to come back and win it in the 9th inning. That one's fouled off, 1-2 the count. The pitch from Giolito. High inside fastball, 2-2 the count. Wisdom waits for the pitch. That one is down the third base line and hooks just foul. Otherwise, that's a double, but it's a long strike instead. 2-2 pitch on the way. Again, down the line, hooking foul, a couple of sections away from the foul pole. Wisdom is on Giolito. He's just early. The next pitch, outside taken for a ball as Giolito tries to pitch away from him. He does not chase. And with a full count, first and third, the pitch on the way. And he gets him on the outside corner for a strike. Wisdom does not like the call, but that was in there. Giolito gets out of a jam, but not before he gives up a 2-run home run that Nomar Mazara almost had. I'm sure he'll be kicking himself for that one. Sox trail 3-1. Folks, I want to remind you that Sox on 35th, the world-famous White Sox blog, joins Sox in the Basement, the White Sox podcast for fans by fans. And they are doing the post-game wrap-up with the box scores and putting up the stats for everybody to see so you can follow along with what's going on in this simulated season. They've been doing a bang-up job over there, and hopefully we're making them proud over here. As Eloy Jimenez steps in, 0 for 1 on the game, and Taijuan Walker pitches his 51st pitch to lead off the 4th and throws it for a strike. Next pitch on the way, high, ball 1, 1-1 the count. Jimenez has hit some balls that would be considered base hits, but he hits into that shift way too often right now. Every team this year has been stacking up 3 guys between second and third, and he's 1-2 now, and he swings on this one and pops it up, and he puts this one in front of the center fielder, who will come in a few steps and catch it for the first out of the 4th inning. He cannot find a spot on the diamond to get a ball down, and the young man is having some trouble here in his 2nd season with the White Sox. Edwin Encarnacion comes up 0 for 1 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th and takes a low strike at the knees. White Sox need to get back at Walker, who gives up lots of hits. This one is deep, back to the wall in left field, and that is way over. Edwin Encarnacion puts it halfway up the section. The first section to the right of the bullpen, if you're looking at it, from home plate. He puts it halfway back there, 413 feet. That ball got out of here in a hurry. A solo shot from Encarnacion, who's playing first base today. And the White Sox pull within one, 3-2. Big hit there by Edwin. He takes a slow trot around the base paths, too. He likes to hit it. He likes to admire it. He gives it a little bat flip, keeps the arm out as he goes down the first base line, pointing at it almost. Like, yeah, I hit that. That gets out of here at 106 miles per hour. Towering shot. And then he takes maybe one of the slowest trots in baseball around the bags. Mazara comes in 0 for 1 with one out here in the bottom of the fourth. This one is popped straight up on the first pitch. He jammed him inside and up. Catcher doesn't have to do anything except take his mask off and wait for it to come right back down over the plate. One pitch, one out for Mazara, and Luis Robert comes in with 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth. Robert walked his first time up and was the first run that scored for the Sox. At the time, it tied the game at 1. He has been getting better at the plate with pitch recognition. He takes 2 of them in a row just outside the strike zone, and he's 2-0 the count. He has made Walker work today, and he seems to be showing a little bit more patience up at the plate. We've seen him at times try to jump on a pitch early and then regret it later. This one just catches the outside corner, 2-1 the count. The pitch. This one is out into the left center field gap, and it's going to get in between the outfielders. Almost gets to the wall before it's finally scooped up on the track and sent back in. Robert into second, standing up with a double with 2 outs. And Danny Mendick comes up, and Danny's already got a base hit in this game and has the opportunity to tie it with another base hit. He had a single in the third. He's 4 for 15 on the season, but he has come up with some very solid big moment hits here, batting primarily in the 9th spot when he plays. This one is down the third base line after taking the first pitch for a strike, and he's quickly 0-2. Robert leads from second. The pitch. Swung on and missed 3 pitches, and he goes down swinging. So the White Sox get a home run from Edwin Encarnacion and a double from Robert, but he's left stranded. At the end of 4, the Mariners lead 3-2. Alan Hansen hitting 9th, 0 for 1 today, and 0 for the season so far. Will take the first pitch from Giolito here to lead off the 5th inning. Hansen's from the Dominican Republic. Has a very weird batting stance as he takes this pitch for a ball 2-0. The only way I can describe it is almost like he's standing straight up. There's no bend as he bats on the left side of the plate. No bend in the front leg. And a very slight bend in the back leg as he kind of leans back. Not a crouch. It's almost like something you would see a little leaguer do before somebody taught them how to actually stand in the batter's box. This one is chopped foul. The count evens at 2-2. Giolito delivers. Swung on and chopped foul. Still 2-2. The pitch. Low. Does not get the call. That was at the knees, a curveball. The count goes full with Gordon on deck. Lucas Giolito about to pitch his 80th pitch of the game here to the first batter he faces in the 5th inning. This one is out into right center field. Mazara trails over. He'll call off Robert and make the play. And that's a fly out for the first out. And D. Gordon, 0 for 2 in this game, comes up to the plate with 1 out in the top of the 5th. The lefty Gordon takes the pitch from Giolito. Low, taken for ball 1. He has scored 13 runs over his last 9 games. When he gets on base, that speedster gets home. This is a quick chop over to Moncada. He pulls Encarnacion off of the bag. Encarnacion tries to get back and step on it, but he is a hair late due to the speed of Gordon. Moncada rushed that ball. It'll go down as an E5. He pulls Encarnacion off the bag into fair territory as if he was running towards second base with a wild throw. The ball got to Moncada extremely quickly, very fast into his glove. He had plenty of time but it was the speed of D. Gordon that made him think he had to rush that throw, and he rushed it, and Gordon's on with the error. And now we have a 2-0 count to Carlos Gonzalez with one out in the top of the fifth and some speed on first base. The pitch on the way. Runner fakes going, does not go. 3-0 count here. Haniger's on deck. Seattle trying to get something going here. Giolito has got to be getting a little frustrated, and the White Sox are hoping he can get it together and pull through this inning. This one is deep out in the right field, back towards the track, and into the Goose Island section for a 2-run home run. And Lucas Giolito screaming into his glove as he gives up a 360-foot blast to Carlos Gonzalez. And he has now given up 3 home runs in this game as the White Sox trail 5-2. A bad start for your ace. And that's 2 bad starts out of his first 3 here to start the season off. And the White Sox have Carson Fulmer up here in the top of the 5th inning as Haniger steps in 0 for 2. Sox trail by 3 as Fulmer warms. So far, Giolito has only gotten through 4 1/3 innings and given up 5 runs. This one is swung on and missed. 4-seam fastball. His struggles continue here at the rate. His most effective game was on the road when he took on the Indians and got the win. 2-1 pitch. This one's out to center field, also trailing back towards the wall. Robert on the track will make the catch. Another deep hit ball. 90 pitches for Giolito, 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning as the bullpen warms, and Daniel Vogelbach, 2 for 2 with a home run and a single, and an RBI, steps up. Giolito tosses to Grandal. 4-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour, 1-0 the count. The pitch from Giolito, outside, ball 2, 2-0. Mariners came into this season with a .500 record. White Sox came in 6-3. But the Mariners pulled out the game yesterday and have gotten all over Lucas Giolito in this game as this one is flared out in the center field for a base hit in front of Robert on a 2-0 pitch. And the fans are restless now as Lucas Giolito has had a very, very rough day. And Ricky Renteria isn't going to wait any longer. He knows his ace did not have it today. So Lucas Giolito will leave the mound, and Carson Fulmer will come in from the bullpen. I'd read you his stats, but it would make you throw up in your mouth. But he's only had really 1 appearance so far. He faced 4 batters and did not get anybody out, giving up the win in the 12th inning against the Red Sox, the only game the White Sox lost out in Boston back on Thursday. So he's 0-1 with an infinity ERA. 2 walks, no strikeouts. Right-handed batters hitting 1,000 against him. Left-handed batters hitting 1,000 against him. And with a runner on first that he inherits here with 2 outs in the top of the 5th, he delivers a strike to Kyle Seager. 0-1 the count. Seager's got a 2-run home run in the 4th. He had a 3-run home run yesterday. He's been killing the White Sox this entire series. He's got a total of 7 RBIs so far here, halfway through the 2nd game out of 3. That's a low fastball taken for a strike, and Fulmer quickly 0-2 to Seager. Fulmer checks the runner over at first. Not really an option to go. Vogelbach does not have a lot of speed. The pitch in the dirt, swung on, blocked. The throw down to first and the drop third strike is rifled into right field. Grandal throws it over Encarnacion's head on a drop third strike. And this is a brutal, brutal inning for the Chicago White Sox. I haven't seen something like that. I don't know if I've ever seen something like that. It's a drop third strike that rolled a little bit foul towards the first base line. Grandal gets up. Again, another rush throw by a White Sox defensive player and throws it clear over the head of Encarnacion, who jumps straight up to try to get it, and he would have had to be 15 feet tall to get that ball. Mazzara cuts it off, but there's runners on 2nd and 3rd now here, and Fulmer throws 3 straight balls now, clearly rattled. He's 3-0. He almost had a 3-pitch strikeout coming in. He had the strikeout, but his catcher muffed it. And now Williams is in, 0 for 1, with a 3-0 count in the catbird seat. And that's a strike. Get me over fastball, 3-1 the count. I see White Sox fans just with their heads down shaking them right now. And that one's outside for strike 2, swung on, 3-2 the count. Fulmer fighting back to a full count. Smattering of clapping in the stadium as they're rooting for him here. Swung on and fouled down the first base line. A brutal inning with a Moncada error, a Grandal error, as this is swung on and missed on an inside curveball that dropped out. So Fulmer retires him. The Grandal error doesn't hurt you, but the White Sox still trail 5-2. A brutal fifth inning for the Chicago White Sox. They gave 2 extra outs to the Mariners, and they went into the inning trailing by 1. They come out of the inning trailing by 3. As Tim Anderson, 1 for 6 lifetime against Walker, stands in, takes the first pitch for a ball, the second one down the middle, taken for a strike, 1-1 the count. He's 0 for 2. He had a 9-game hit streak. Last night when the White Sox were coming back, he begged, you could see him, begging Renteria to get in there for the last at-bat of the game, and he almost took it out for the walk-off heroics. But as he went down with an out, the hit streak was snapped. And now he's 0 for 2 today with a 2-1 count. That one is low in the dirt. Ball 3, 3-1 with Moncada on deck. Taijuan Walker with the pitch. Swinging strike on a four-seam fastball at the knees. 3-2. And Walker now taking his time out there, and why shouldn't he? The man should have all the confidence in the world. He's got a lead, and the White Sox keep giving him more. The pitch on the way. That one is chopped to third base. Going to be an easy play for Seager, who takes his time. See what happens when you take your time? That one's over to first on the 5-3 putout, and Yoan Moncada comes up 4 for 6 in the series. Hitting .316 now on the season after that terrible 0 for 15 start. He's 2 for 2 in this game. He scored 7 runs in the last 5, and he swings at the first pitch and misses for strike 1. Next one is lifted down the first baseline foul, and he's 0-2 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Catcher sets up on the outside portion of the plate. Moncada chases a splitter just out of the zone and fouls it off as he protects. Count remains 0-2. Walker with the delivery. This one is chopped in front of the plate, and what's going to be the ruling here? Base hit. The ball is chopped in front of the plate, and it was kicked by the catcher foul. It did not roll back foul, it hit his foot. So a confusing play at first base, but Moncada's on, and the official ruling is going to be a base hit as that ball went 2 feet in front of home plate, but as it was rolling back, hit the catcher in the foot while it was in fair territory, making it a fair ball, and he's on first base. With 1 out, and Abreu takes a high fastball for a strike, 0-1 the count. 6 major league seasons with the Chicago White Sox. His entire career, signing an extension in the offseason. And when I say entire career, I mean entire Major League Baseball career. He did play for a while in Cuba. 1-1 pitch, swung on and sent down the first baseline foul. Moncada with a good lead, trailing by 3. I don't think he's a threat to go. The pitch. Swung on a splitter right over the top of it for strike 3. The 4th strikeout for Walker, and Abreu sits down. So there'll be 2 outs for Yasmani Grandal here in the bottom of the 5th inning, with Yoan Moncada over at first. Walker with the pitch. Outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Grandal's hitting .200 on the season. He's got a .751 OPS. And that's mainly because of the extra base hits and the home runs. Because his on-base percentage is only .230. 0-1 pitch. In the zone for strike 2. 0-2 the count. He has scored 3 runs in the last 3 games. If you look at the averages that these White Sox hitters are carrying, it's amazing the amount of runs that they've put up. And they've been in each and every game, and they have a winning record. But there are some struggles with a lot of the guys in this lineup early on. Swinging strike, 3 pitches, 3 strikes. And Walker strikes out the last 2 hitters that he faces after Moncada gets on a freak play. After 5, the Mariners lead 5-2. Austin Nola steps in, and Carson Fulmer will continue pitching for the Chicago White Sox here, trailing by 3 here in the top of the 6th inning. The way this game has gone, it makes sense to give Fulmer some time out there. You can't bring out the big guns every time. If the game was closer, or if there was some life in the last inning or so at the plate, you could make another argument. But your starter's out early, and you've got a fresh arm out there, and if you're going to keep him on the Major League roster, you got to use him. As he strikes out the first batter he faces on 3 pitches. Maybe I'll just talk about Fulmer, and I'll make it seem like he's terrible, so he can make me sound stupid and we can get through this inning. And I would do that as Nola goes down swinging on 3 pitches. Anything to help the team out right now. In this White Sox simulated season brought to you by Sox in the Basement. Found everywhere podcasts can be found and always at soxinthebasement.com. Patrick Wisdom steps in. 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. He's 0 for 6 in the series. Sox in the Basement certainly flattered that over the last week or so, some of the big boys in Chicago media have taken such notice of what we've been doing, they've out and out copied it. Took about a week before NBC Sports decided they wanted to start simulating games. And after they did one TV broadcast, and we pointed out that, hey, we've been already doing this, and there was a little bit of offense taken on Twitter. I think 50 people ganged up on the one lone guy down in his basement. This big corporation decided now they were going to try to simulate a season, but they're only doing it in 60 seconds every day. Here you get every pitch. But the thing I thought was funny was Don Paul's with us all weekend long, and today they have an article up interviewing Don Paul. So as soon as we can announce to you who's coming on the show this week, I'm sure they'll be able to go out and book who they're going to be talking to later on in the week. 3-2 pitch to Wisdom. This one is chopped down the third base line foul. But it is flattering. In my time when I was in radio, bouncing around the country, as that's a swinging strike to Wisdom for strike 2. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th as Fulmer is pitching well. He has struck out the first 2 guys that he's faced. He also struck out 2 guys in the last inning. One of them, on the drop third strike, still reached second base. And then he struck out the next batter, so Fulmer's dealing. He did not like looking at that infinity ERA and infinity whip. And he throws a first pitch strike now to Alan Hansen, the 9-hitter, with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. When I was in radio, one of the things that I was always taught was, if somebody's taken something from you, then you should be flattered, because that means you're doing something right. And as a guy who sits in his basement, started the show with his friend for fun, to get to the standing where you could see the download numbers for the podcast and see how well we're doing, and to catch the attention of the big boys to the point where they have to grab a few of our ideas, I am certainly flattered. This one is flied out to Moncada. Soft fly ball caught in the glove. Ends the inning. Midway through the 6th, Sox trail 5-2. Eloy Jimenez steps up to the plate here in the bottom of the 6th inning with the White Sox trailing by 3, but he has bigger problems. He is in a massive slump. He was the hottest hitter in baseball after the first series and is ice cold basically ever since. Yes, he has put out a home run during that road trip. I think he actually had 2 of his 5 home runs on that road trip. They were his only 2 hits, though, of the road trip, the entire road trip. And he is 1-1 as Walker remains in the game here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And why shouldn't he? He's actually been pretty efficient for a guy who came into the game with 17 hits over the first 10 innings he pitched. 2-1 count, inside pitch, and Jimenez makes an ugly swing at what should have been ball 3. And he shakes his head, and he is frustrated. He may need a few days off. He is having a rough time. This one is low and inside, 3-2 the count. And this is the thing that every manager has to try to figure out. Do you let the young man work through it, or do you baby him a little bit because he's so young? This one is grounded to first base, flipped over to Walker. It's a foot race to the bag. He'll beat Jimenez by a step. A 3-1 putout. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And Edwin Encarnacion steps up to the plate with a solo home run under his belt. He's 1 for 2 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. And he rips this one deep. And he flips the bat higher this time. He has 2 home runs in this game as this one sails into the stratosphere in left field. Wow! 444 feet. That ball got out of here at 115.7 miles per hour. That was a bomb by Encarnacion. He launches this one, cutting the lead to 2. He hit the first one, gave a little bat flip. This one got a big one. That was a Tim Anderson bat flip that just falls 1 row short of the concourse out in left field. And Nomar Mazara steps up to the plate and takes ball 1 high. Mazara 0 for 2, the pitch on the way. Fouls this one that was also high off down the third base line. Picked up in the offseason in a trade with the Rangers. The pitch. This one's flared down the third base line. It's going to rattle around the corner. They had the shift down the opposite side, and Mazara will walk into second base. because the left fielder had to come all the way over from almost center field to go get that ball as fast as he could, and Mazara hits well against the shift here, putting this opposite field, and he's standing on second base. So the White Sox in business right now. They are not going away. They've had some miscues. They trail the game, but they are not done. As Luis Robert steps in with one out here in the bottom of the sixth and a runner in scoring position. Walker remains and throws one at the knees, called a strike. I think Robert gets the benefit of the umpire if he's in baseball a little bit longer than he has been, at least at the major league level. He's 1 for 1 today with a walk. The 0-1 pitch to him. Taken high, ball 1, 1-1 the count. Roberts hitting .400 with runners in scoring position so far in the season. As we've said, he has had his struggles, but you can see the wheels turning as this one is inside for a strike. He's had some big moments, some big hits. He has drawn some walks, and his strike zone has been pretty spot on mostly. As this one is flared down the third base line, hooking foul right before the foul pole. 1-2 the count, the pitch on the way. Swung on and chopped down the first base line. Mazara was moving the moment that came off the bat. He looks itching. The pitch. Swung on and down the first base line. That is a fair ball off the glove of the first baseman. Robert beats the throw to first base as Vogelbach dropped the ball. Couldn't find it at first. Walker gets over, and as the ball was tossed to him, Robert beat the throw by a half a step. Mazara's in at third. They held him. Although, with all that confusion, he might have had a chance down the third base line. The Mariners are going to come out and get their starting pitcher now. Walker heads to the bench, and we will see Taylor Williams. He has 6 games already under his belt this season, 7 1/3 innings pitched, a 4.91 earned run average. Righties are hitting .333 against him. That's much better than lefties. He's got 11 strikeouts and 2 walks. But as you notice, he has given up some runs. And with one out here in the bottom of the sixth, Danny Mendick steps up with runners on first and third. Robert's got some speed. It'll be interesting to see if they try to get out of the double play possibility right off the bat here. The first pitch on the way, taken, slider down the middle, strike one. Robert with a lead. Mazara also coming down the line at third. Robert goes on an inside pitch. Swung on and missed for a strike. Robert is safe under the tag at second base. So Luis Robert steals his 5th stolen base, second and third with one out. 0-2 count to Mendick, outside for a ball, 1-2. Mazara now over at third as Williams digs his foot into the mound, taking his time. Second and third with one out in the bottom of the sixth. 1-2 count to Mendick. The pitch. Swung on and missed on an outside changeup, and he goes down swinging. So now 2 outs here in the bottom of the sixth for Williams. And Tim Anderson comes up in this game. He's still 0 for in this game. 0 for 3 to be exact. And looking to make an impact. The first pitch. Swung on and driven into right center field. If it falls in, it'll score runs. A big diving play in the outfield by Mitch Haniger. That almost got by him. The White Sox almost come back and tie this one at least. In the end, they will have to settle for the Encarnacion bomb. They trail by 2 after 6. As Jimmy Cordero will come in now to pitch the 7th inning. This is his 6th appearance. He has 6 2/3 innings pitched. No runs scored against him. 8 strikeouts to 3 walks. Lefties have yet to get a hit against him. Righties hitting 111. And D. Gordon steps up. He's a lefty, 0 for 3. First pitch taken for a strike. Lower outside portion of the plate. So a nice job by Carson Fulmer, who takes a lot of flack, going out there and getting out of the 5th inning, even with the terrible overthrow by Grandal that almost became a disaster. This one's bunted down the third base line. Moncada, one-handed, picks it up and throws him out. Great throw about halfway down the line. He comes in quickly and gets Gordon trying to bunt his way on for a hit. And there's one out. And here's Carlos Gonzalez, who had a home run last time up. They really busted this game open for the Mariners. Luckily, Edwin Encarnacion's been putting on a clinic at the plate and keeping the White Sox within striking distance. First 2 pitches, the Gonzalez go for a ball, one outside, one inside. 2-0 the count with one out here in the top of the 7th. We saw Gordon earlier on in the game try to bunt his way on. It went foul. Moncada seemed prepared for that one. He got in quickly and picked that up barehanded. very Robin Ventura-esque, and flipped that one over to Encarnacion at first base. 3-0 count, and Cordero checks the sign, the pitch on the way. Inside fastball, ball 4, so a very patient batter and some nibbling creates a walk here with one out in the top of the 7th. Mitch Haniger steps in with a runner on first, 0 for 3 in the game. And that's a sinker outside, called for a strike. White Sox bullpen trying to keep their team within striking distance. This game is far from over. The pitch. Outside taken for a ball, 1-1. The next offering. Swung on and chopped to Moncada. Tough plays, only got to go to first. That ball seemed to die in the infield. As it was chopping, he had to run in a long way to get it, almost even with the mound where he gets that ball. So he's not going to be able to get the runner at second. He goes over to first and gets the out. 2 outs here at the top of the 7th with a runner on second base now. And Daniel Vogelbach, 3 for 3 and giving White Sox pitchers fits this series. It has been difficult with him and Seager all series long. First pitch is a ball low. Second one is chopped up the middle. Anderson cuts in front of second base, throws over to first. Picked out of the dirt by Encarnacion on a terrible throw. He saves Anderson's bacon. And the White Sox luckily get out of this inning because that looked like another disaster on the way. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Yoan Moncada, 3 for 3 with a double and 2 singles and an RBI. Steps to the plate hitting .333. So the 2 spot in the order, he slid right back into that, and he feels good so far. Swings on a high fastball for strike 1, 0-1 the count. The Twins beat the Indians 6-5. They have been taking it to them in Minnesota. Twins will get here on Friday. We have an off day on Thursday. This series concludes tomorrow on Wednesday. White Sox still trying to come back in this game, down by 2, 0-2 count to Moncada as Williams remains in this inning and delivers a slider down the middle that fooled Moncada. Bat was still on his shoulders. Strike 3. Jose Abreu comes up now 0 for 3 with a strikeout in the 5th inning, hitting .333 on the season with a .952 OPS. As Williams delivers. And this one is sent soaring down the third base line, hooking foul. The righty Williams against the righty Abreu. The pitch on the way. That is outside, taken for a ball, 1-1. 5-3 game. The pitch. Change up at the knees, called a strike. Aaron Bummer warms in the White Sox bullpen with the team trailing by 2, saying today he really wished he could have gotten out in that game yesterday, but he was a workhorse in Boston. The man needed a few days to let the arm rest as Abreu chases an outside pitch, swinging and missing for strike 3. And Williams has struck out the first 2 batters he faces here in this inning. Sometimes you feel like after the 7th inning stretch, your team is fired up, and then they come out flat like this. Sox are playing right now at the plate as if they have a lead or it's tied. And that is not the case. You need to make some more runs. And Grandal's 0 for 3 today. Right now, your 3, 4, and 5 hitters are 0 for. And you've still been able to come up with 3 runs in this game, and you're still only down by 2. The pitch. This one is chopped down the third base line. Going to be a tough play for Williams coming off of the mound, but he will grab that on a soft chopper that kind of died in the grass. He flips it over to first base. 1, 2, 3 go the White Sox. We go to the top of the 8th, trailing by 2. Aaron Bummer will come into this game. This is his 6th appearance of the season. He has 6 innings pitched. 10 strikeouts, no walks. Nobody's crossed the plate that's been charged to him. Now, he's a lefty, but right-handed batters hitting .143 against him. Lefties like Seager up here are hitting .400 against him. Announced attendance now out, 13,939 here at the rate on a Tuesday afternoon. First 2 pitches from Bummer are balls, both close, but no cigar on the outside portion of the plate. Seager's 1 for 3 in this game. The man has been hitting bombs against the White Sox and driving in lots and lots of runs. Bummer getting an inning of work here. Depending on what's going on in the next inning, I think will influence who's going to be the pitcher for the 9th for the White Sox. This one is chopped over to Moncada. He knocks it down but he will not be able to make a play. Yohan Moncada was playing on a shift close to the shortstop. This ball was over where he should have been playing. He had to dive to knock it down, and it kind of rolls a few feet away from him towards third base. It prevents it from being an extra base hit, but it's a single. And now an 0-1 count to Williams, as Bummer works quickly with a runner on base with no outs in the top of the 8th inning. The pitch. Outside cut fastball, he chased it, 0-2. Bummer checks the runner, the pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled down the third base line. The 0-2 pitch. Swung on one in the dirt. Sinker that got down inside below the knees. And Bummer sits him down with a strikeout. One out here in the top of the 8th. Austin Nola comes up, the right-handed batter against the left-handed Bummer. The pitch on the way. This one is fouled down the first base line. Runner on first, one out. Top of the 8th. White Sox trail the Mariners 5-3 in the simulated broadcast brought to you by Sox in the Basement and Cork and Carry at the Park, located over at 33rd and Princeton. This one's outside, taken for a ball, 1-1. Make them part of your regular rotation to feed you and your family. This one's a swung-on strike inside at the knees, 1-2 to Nola. The pitch from Bummer. Throws the same pitch, but he doesn't chase this time, 2-2. Go to Grubhub if you want to order some Cork and Carry at the Park, or just go directly to corkandcarryatthepark.com. This one is chopped foul down the first base line. They'll reset, 2-2 the count, with one out in the top of the 8th. The pitch on the way. This one's fouled off down the first base line. It's important that if you are sitting at home, or whatever you're doing, you might be a first responder, has to go to work every day. And God bless you if you're that. This one is popped straight up in the air. Bummer points it out to Encarnacion, who will stand next to him and catch the ball. It was funny. Bummer could have caught it, but instead he let Encarnacion come over, stand directly next to him, 1 foot away, and he pointed at it to make sure Encarnacion knew he was going to catch that one. So that's a fly out 3, and there's 2 outs. Inside fastball swung on and missed by Wisdom, 0-1 the count, with the runner remaining on first base. The pitch, outside fastball taken for a strike, 0-2. It's important to support Cork and Carry at the Park so that they are there to open their doors for you when life gets back to normal. Make them part of your rotation. Feeding yourself, feeding your family if you're a first responder. Feed the 911 center. Feed the station house. Feed the desk over there at the nurse's station. We will get through this, and when we do, I will see you at Cork and Carry at the Park. Inside pitch taken, 2-2 the count now with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Bummer to Wisdom, the right-handed hitter. The pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. Sinker falling out of the zone. He goes down. So Aaron Bummer comes in and pitches well in the 8th inning. The White Sox still need 2 to tie it. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 5-3. Austin Adams comes in for his 4th appearance for the Mariners. He's already 2-0 over 4 innings. He's got a 2-0 record. He's got 9 strikeouts and 1 walk, and has not given up a hit to a right-handed batter yet this season. Here's a right-handed batter that's having some troubles, Eloy Jimenez. It'd be nice to see Eloy get something going right now and get on base. The first pitch from Adams. High taken for a ball. Kelvin Herrera and Alex Colome warming up in the pen. I think depending on what happens this inning will influence who's pitching in the top of the 9th inning. Inside slider swung on and missed, 1-1 the count to Jimenez. It is difficult to watch a player fight through what Eloy Jimenez is fighting through right now. He was nothing but smiles when the season started off. He went on the road and just lost what he had. And now he's trying to work it out back at home. Habitually last year, as he takes this for a ball, he was better on the road than he was at home, especially early on in the season. And we've talked about that before, how his building had problems with the HVAC system. And Sox in the Basement was the first source to report that. And Eloy would be seen walking the hallways in the middle of the night by neighbors because he couldn't get comfortable. And when everything got fixed, that's when he got on his first tear of the season last year, when he could finally sleep in his own bed and sleep comfortably. Swung on and missed, and Jimenez has sat down on an inside fastball, and his struggles continue. Somebody check and see whether or not he's got problems over at the home again, in the condo. Edwin Encarnacion steps in 2 for 3. The last 2 pitches thrown to him were both for home runs. Deep into left field, and he takes a home run hack right there, but misses. 0-1 the count. 2 home runs in this game today, both of them solo shots, hitting .289 on the season. The shame is he's had nobody on base for him when he's shown the power. He has nobody on for him now. Low pitch called for a ball, 1-1. Adams, the righty, stares in at the right-handed hitting Encarnacion, and the pitch on the way. Inside and high, ball 2, 2-1 the count. 2-1 pitch. That one rolls to the backstop for a ball, 3-1 with Nomar Mazara on deck. Checks the sign and delivers. Outside ball 4, and the most dangerous hitter on the White Sox walks down the first base. And in this situation, even though there's already one out, the Sox are going to try to scratch across runs, I think, and they're going to send out a pinch runner. And Adam Engel will come into pinch run for the first baseman Encarnacion, as Mazara steps in with one out here in the bottom of the 8th, as the White Sox try to manufacture a run here, as this one is fouled off down the third base line. Putting some speed on in the hopes that a base hit will get him easily first to third. Or maybe he goes here, we'll see. Inside strike, 0-2 quickly. Robert on deck, Mazara at the plate. The pitch from Adams. Low for a ball, 1-2 the count. The next pitch on the way. Swung on and missed for strike 3. So Mazara unable to do anything. The pinch runner Engel remains on first base. And Robert comes up 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored. Mendick on deck. Robert and Mendick have contributed in this game and over the last few days. Nothing saying it's because it's the bottom of the order that they can't get something done here against Austin Adams. He's 0-1 on an inside fastball taken. And the second pitch of the at-bat on the way. Outside pitch out on Engel. He does not go. Mariners thinking the White Sox will try to get him to second. They do not. Looking at the stats right now, it looks like when there's a runner in motion, Robert has not made very good contact, feeling as though he has to do something up there. So they may have Engel stand back. That one's fouled off, 1-2 the count now to Luis Robert. Engel takes a lead. He's quick, but he doesn't get a good jump at first base. So he's only average at stolen bases. As this one is high, 2-2 the count. 2-2 pitch. Engel with the lead. He goes. That one is taken for strike 3 on the outside corner. Robert frozen by an outside slider. After 8, the Sox still trail by 2. Lots of changes here for the White Sox here in the top of the 9th inning. Kelvin Herrera comes in the pitch. This is his 5th appearance. He's got 4 1/3 innings and a 4.15 earned run average. He looked sharp the last time he was out. But also, James McCann is behind the plate now as Yasmani Grandal goes down to first. Adam Engel goes out to right, and Nomar Mazara's on the bench. So Engel came in for Encarnacion at first base. Grandal now will play first to finish the game off as McCann goes behind the plate. First pitch a strike. Next pitch inside for a ball. So McCann behind the plate, Grandal's down the first base. Engel stays in the game out in right field, and Mazara sits down as well. As this one is chopped to Anderson, he backhands it and bobbles it, and he'll have to eat it at short. Another error by the White Sox defense. It has been a comedy of errors today. E6 on that one. And a brutal day in the field for the White Sox on this Tuesday afternoon as the runner reaches first base. Taylor made easy ground out. The 9-hitter gets on as a result. And D. Gordon steps up to the plate 0 for 4 with a runner on first. Inside and low for a ball, 1-0. Ricky Renteria just looks disgusted right now on the bench. 1-0 pitch. This one's flared out into left field. Coming in is Jimenez. He'll make the catch and toss that one in for the first out. Carlos Gonzalez steps up, 1 for 3 with a 2-run home run in the 5th inning that really busted this game open. That was a brutal inning for the White Sox that Lucas Giolito could not survive. And he swings on an inside fastball and misses for a strike, 0-1 the count. Errors contributed to the jam that Giolito had. And then the home run barely got over the wall. Everything went wrong for the White Sox in that inning. But Gonzalez is now 0-2 after fouling that one off down the third base line. Herrera, the righty, to the lefty Gonzalez, the pitch. Popped up. McCann takes the mask off, goes up the third base line, and catches that in foul territory for out number 2. 2 outs in the top of the ninth for Mitch Haniger, hitting .239 on the season, with a runner on first base, and his team leading by 2. The pitch, inside fastball, cut fastball, 92 miles an hour for a strike. The sign from McCann to Herrera, the pitch on the way, outside blocked. That one in the dirt. McCann keeps it in front of him, holds the runner, and it's 1-1. The pitch, inside slider, taken for a ball, 2-1. 2 outs in the top of the ninth, runner on first. Kelvin Herrera trying to finish off the inning, give the White Sox a fighting chance here in the bottom of the ninth. Outside pitch taken, 3-1. Danny Mendick scheduled to lead off the inning before it gets to Anderson, Moncada, and Abreu. The 3-1 pitch from Herrera. Swung on and chopped to Moncada. He scoops it over to first base to Grandal, and that ends the inning. So the White Sox hold, and have held since everything fell apart in the fifth. They trail by 2 going to the bottom of the ninth. Carl Edwards Jr., who almost gave it up yesterday, will come back out with a 1.69 earned run average over 6 appearances, 5 1/3 innings. He's got 5 saves and 5 opportunities, including last night, although he was a hair away from giving that one up. And Danny Mendick comes in, 1 for 3 on the day to face him. Righty versus righty in this first matchup, the pitch on the way. That's low, taken for a ball, ball 1. It'll be Mendick, Anderson, Moncada, and then hopefully Abreu, and we just keep going until we win this game. That's an inside fastball low at the knees, taken for a strike, 1-1. The final game of this series is tomorrow. Going into this series, the White Sox were 3 for 3, taking all 3 of their first series 2 games to 1. They would need a win here today to have a chance to do that tomorrow. Swinging strike and an outside cut fastball out of the zone. That was high at the letters, 1-2 the count. The pitch from Edwards. Swung on and fouled off down the first base line. Mendick will flip the bat, put it back into his hands, and reset. The pitch. Swung on and missed, inside fastball right on the corner of the plate. He could not get around on that one, put it in on his hands. And Edwards has a strikeout, and Tim Anderson 0 for 4. If you take out last night, this would be the first time he goes hitless in a game if he does not get one right now, all season long. 1 out here in the bottom of the ninth, nobody on, Sox trail by 2. First pitch high outside, cut fastball taken for a strike. Edwards Jr. had trouble last night. It'd be surprising to see a closer have problems 2 nights in a row. This one is high, taken for a ball, 1-1 the count. Sox came into this game 6-4, and we're excited to get home, although the Mariners have made it a miserable homecoming, at least to this point. 2-1 count after a few pitches miss on the inside corner. The pitch to Anderson, swung on and fouled off down the first base line. Edwards stares in for the 2-2 call from his catcher. Now he's got it and he delivers. This one's popped straight up to the second base. He jammed him high and inside. Anderson goes 0 for 5 on the day. And the White Sox are down to their last bullet. And it's in the form of the red-hot hitting 3 for 4 Yoan Moncada, who would just love to get himself on base here. You can't win it at the plate, but you can get yourself in position to give Jose Abreu a chance. Took Edwards 10 pitches through the first 2 batters. Moncada got a chance to look at him on the on-deck circle a little bit more. Inside pitch taken for a ball, 1-0, good eye. The next pitch to Moncada. Outside corner cut fastball, 94 miles an hour, taken for a strike. 1-1 the count here with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, and the Sox trailing by 2. Most of the fans have stuck around. Day baseball on a Tuesday here on the south side in spring. This one is grounded to the pitcher. He gets it over to first base in plenty of time. And the 1-3 putout as the Mariners take the first two in this 3-game set. It was errors today for the White Sox that cost them this game. Without the errors, I think Lucas Giolito pitches deeper. Without the errors, there's far less runs that are scored. The timely home runs may not have been as timely. And those that got out barely. Meanwhile, Edwin Encarnacion, when he hit his, they were deep. It just did not work out for the White Sox today. Everything they tried just turned up bad. Walker gets the win. He's 1-0. Giolito takes his first loss of the season. He's 1-1. Edwards gets his 6th save of the year for the Mariners. Edwin Encarnacion, 2 for 3 with 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. Robert, 1 for 3 with a double and a run. Yohan Moncada, 3 for 5 with a double and an RBI. And Mazzara, 1 for 4 with a double. But he also had a ball go off his glove that went over for a big home run. And Daniel Vogelbach, 3 for 4 with a home run and an RBI, is your player of the game for the Seattle Mariners. We'll see you tomorrow as we conclude a 3-game set as the White Sox try to avoid the sweep, with Dallas Keuchel on the mound for another day game before they get a day off. It'll be all hands on deck to stop the bleeding as the White Sox drop to 6-5. Thank you very much for listening. Remember to support Cork and Carry at the Park. Go to Grubhub or corkandcarryatthepark.com and order some food right now. And also our thanks to Family Waterproofing Solutions. You will get the recap, the box scores, and all that good stuff at soxon35th.com, our partners during the simulated season. And we'll see you tomorrow for another White Sox simulated game from Guaranteed Rate Field, brought to you by Sox in the Basement, found everywhere podcasts can be found and always at soxinthebasement.com.
Sox in the basement. Sox in the basement. Sox in the basement.
Sox in the Basement. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found and always on soxinthebasement.com.